is going on, guys? Tuesday, March 21st. That's right. We are almost through March. This year is kind of flying by. The year's flying by, but the work weeks sure aren't. But either way, thanks for those that are joining us live tonight. We got a great show for you tonight. We're going to, over the next hour, we're going to talk a little bit about that Marvel Disney Plus show schedule slipping further. We're also going to have some more Disney news where we have some job cuts coming. And then also, it wouldn't be Comic News Weekly with ComicManAndy if we didn't talk a little bit about Last of Us show wrapped. Looking forward to season 2. We're going to get into that a little bit. But before we do, let's bring the panelists in here from Beyond Wednesday's YouTube channel. You guys might know him. You should know him because he's got a bunch of great content on his channel. But Mr. Bryan McClay.
What's going on, brother?
What's up? I'm a little bit fired up tonight. I got a little bit of Go Juice going on, some adult Kool-Aids.
Some goodies.
Yes.
Well, I'm always fired up, brother. Let's do it.
A little bit of Bib and Tucker. But yeah, good stuff. And then also from the Rhynoverse himself, the metal of metal all people, we have Mr. Ryan Hayslip. You're muted, bro. You're so metal, you're muted.
You're so metal, you muted.
So you were just practicing your lines.
I was just making sure I'll check in to make sure you're on your toes, your P's and Q's with your adult Kool-Aid there. I'm stoked because Mudvayne is going to be coming back on their own tour, like I thought I predicted efficiently and correctly. And guess who's touring with them? And some of you guys in the chat may or may not know who this band is, but have you ever heard of the band Gwar? Oh yeah, Gwar and Mudvayne on the same stage.
So effing determined. But yes,
Gwar, you know about Gwar? Gwar is legit.
I do know Gwar, but I am more of a Mudvayne fan than Gwar.
Yeah.
Well, Gwar is more for the theatrics of it all. I mean, it's hard to play those suits, but yeah, I'm stoked.
But yeah, I do want to welcome people coming in the chat. We got Nicholas, we got Snizzle Pop, we got some others coming in there. But also, we have the person that owns this channel that's gracious enough to host this show now. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up button, not just on this video, but all the videos on this channel. But we got Alberto Jefe himself, ComicManAndy.
Gentlemen, the hostess with the mostest, welcome back. It's Tuesday. I figured it out. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
What?
Supplies!
God. I couldn't even play a ring shot to that if I wanted to.
That was terrible.
With inflation going on, you know what the cheapest meat right now is?
That was horrible.
What?
Deer balls. They're just under $1.
Let me clean that one up.
Damn.
Yeah, guys, Tuesday, Comic News Weekly, although we don't always talk about comics, talk about a lot of things pop culture. But for, like I said, for a lot of other pop culture trading card for a lot of great content, make sure you subscribe to ComicManAndy, as well as Beyond Wednesdays and Rhynoverse. As you guys may or may not know, my channel itself has been on hiatus. That's why I'm over here sharing the love with all these great people. Introducing myself to a lot of new community members within ComicManAndy's channel. So loving all that. But let's get right into it tonight, guys. We've been talking about MCU. We've talked about DCEU. We've talked about James Gunn. We've talked about saturation of media. We've talked about a bunch of stuff. But here we have Disney Plus pushing back some of the channels that had a release date. Now they've changed to coming soon for multiple shows on Disney Plus, right? They're talking about Loki season 2. This all started with the Marvels movie being delayed. So now we got Secret Invasion, What If season 2, and Loki season 2 all had respective release windows changed to read coming soon. Instead, Secret Invasion originally was released to spring 2023, while What If season 2 had an early 23, and Loki season 2 was supposed to be released this summer. So it's been about a 5-month gap since the last show aired on Disney Plus for MCU. That was what, Miss Marvel, correct?
She-Hulk.
So, or no, it was
She-Hulk, yeah.
She-Hulk. Sorry, I'm way off. Samsonite. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I kind of like the welcome pause and stuff and let people's appetite get a little bit wet for some of this content. Out of all of them, I'm probably looking most forward to Loki season 2. I think Secret Wars would be good too. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you think this is good? Do you think this is like early warning signs of trouble? This might lead into our next topic that we're going to get into as well. But what do you think of the Disney Plus release window kind of shifting a little bit? And what ramifications do you think this will have for maybe MCU movies, the whole Marvel release window in general? McClay, start with you.
I'm always worried over the last 10. No, I wouldn't say 10. Probably the failures. What? At least 5 failures coming out of Disney lately. So I'm a glasses half empty guy right now with everything Disney, which kind of sucks because, I was really stoked for a long time there and it's just been failure after failure. But here's the thing. Loki season 2 was the one that I was really looking forward to. So now it's got me even more worried, if that makes sense, because if did they say why they did this?
No.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That makes me worried. Like, is it bad? Like, did they do this for reshoots? Was the testing, the viewer testing bad? What do we got going on?
Well, I think that what?
I can see you're fired up for this. Well, Ant-Man and Wasp, Ant-Man Quantumania, like severely underperformed. I don't know if that had anything to do with it either.
Yeah, very.
Like it's like the lowest box office of the Ant-Man movies.
Yep.
But I don't think that's a thing for Ant-Man. I think that's still a box office in general. I think you got your outliers of your Top Gun Mavericks and things like that, but I don't see people going in droves back to the movie theater still, especially when the release window between movie theater to streamer is so short nowadays.
Yep.
Well, you would think that if they weren't going to in droves to the movies, that then something like this, where it's streaming, would do really well. And then maybe they're taking a step back because they learned from some of their mistakes over the past year or two, and they took steps back then too to readjust. But that they're transitioning. If people are transitioning to streaming services, they're changing a huge pattern, through within America or the world, whatever, where it would go to movies, watch shows, and then you'd wait for the next show or wait for the next movie, and then you go and watch that movie. Now they've opened up a can of worms, or if you will, or Pandora's box, where they got these streaming services. And so, yeah, maybe people are not as cool or not as, used to go or, have to go to the theaters because they're able to get quality content at home or close to the same type of quality as a movie would give. So there's not really a huge desire to go see it when they can watch it from the comfort of their own home. So they're changing. And I think that they're having, as they're going and they're going forward, they're having to reevaluate or maybe adjust a few things to make it good for the audience, but also make it good for themselves.
I agree with Ryan 100% that they over the last 2 years did kind of shoot themselves in the foot where they wanted to bring this content into people's homes, not knowing how soon or if at all ever they were hedging their bets, right? And if people were going to have to stay home forever or if things weren't ever going to get better, they had to find another way. Well, now they're at a crossroads, right? Like people have options, people have choices. The world continues moving on and continues turning. And now they can't live in both worlds. I do agree with Ryan on that, but like there's several things that we're going to talk about tonight that are Disney related where it seems like lots of things are coming to a head. And I, for one, am kind of worried that for me, the fan that I am with streaming media and movies, I'm extremely, extremely excited for Ahsoka coming out, which not set yet, but the working theory is coming out this fall. Well, if they're going to push these 3 or 4 or 5 series back all willy-nilly, are they going to remain focused on Ahsoka, releasing Ahsoka on time, or are they going to push that back further? Because I'm looking forward to getting into the nitty-gritty here, because this story coming up us putting this up this week kind of adds to something else that adds to something else that adds to something else. Like Three Rivers hit it up in the chat. They're bleeding money. They're calling for a minimum of 4,000 layoffs, and those people are starting to be named as early as April.
7,000.
First 7,000 now.
Yeah.
Well,
so
this
it's into our
you're
second
ruining
story.
our next B
Yeah.
block.
Yeah.
Well,
This gets
the-
into our second story, but we can combine them. But yeah, so basically he announced a plan to eliminate 7,000 jobs during his February earnings call. This is CEO Bob Iger in his first meeting back. He also announced a hiring freeze. So that's another big issue. So yeah, man, this doesn't bode well for Disney.
Yeah, and I think this ties into I think we as comic enthusiasts or fans of Marvel or fans of Star Wars look at it from the spectrum of just the MCU, where I think there's bigger ramifications where what Iger wants to do with probably Disney Plus and the plans ahead. So they're probably putting that pause and that delay to where they can implement whatever changes they want to Disney Plus and so forth, including these job cuts. Major restructuring going on. We've seen it. We've seen what's her name just leave or got let go from the MCU. That was the MCU.
Yeah, that was just
and then as you see in there, we got job cuts coming. Bob Iger is coming in basically just doing a 180 of everything that a lot of stuff JPEG did. But I would also be innovative here, right? If we know these shows are tied to the MCU, maybe months ahead of time when you have a movie that's going to lead into a show, if you've put it in production, and instead of just extra credit scenes, do some special feature where, hey, come in, see the movie, and then watch the first episode, give them the carrot and the stick. You watch the first episode of Loki that's coming 6 months from now, and get people in there talking about it and start building and buzz and everything like that. And that way you also see the continuity between the payoff of the, hey, if I go to the movie, this is going to tie into the show this way, and we're going to see how it ties in because we're going to get the first episode or however. Or even not even put it in the movie. Maybe if they try to get people into the box office by, hey, come into the theater and just see like the first 3 episodes of the show, like they did with Last of Us in New York City, and get people into the theaters more and let them see the show on the big screen, and then they could see the rest of it later when it airs.
Or better yet, like some sort of middle ground where, like, if Ant-Man and things underperform kind of their expectations, where I'm agreeing with a lot of other people, there might be heavy saturation. People are kind of tired of that. But instead of trying to do a movie 2 or a movie 3 or a movie 4, why not take a middle of the road performing movie at the movie theater? Instead of trying to create another movie, create a streaming series out of that for the thousands of fans that would watch it, and it might perform well instead of spending all that overhead and all that capital to have an underperforming second or third or fourth movie. Make it tie in, and then if the season does well, then bring it for a continuation and have that be a second or third movie. They got to find some way to make these things work together.
Yeah. Well,
Three Rivers brings up a good comment about Alonzo kind of being scapegoat for Ant-Man, but I think it was just a cascading effect. And I think it's also, I wonder, how do you think this will affect comic book creators, comic book writers, and comic books in general, as you're starting to see the decline where the whole speculation over the past 5 years was always like the option movie, and everyone's selling shit off because stuff's got option or there's a movie coming, MCU, independent, DC, whatever. And now that the movie part of it's starting to lag a little bit, do you think comic creators need to get better and let's just go back to a comic book being a good comic book?
Yeah, it's been like that for a while, and they just don't understand that the writing has been garbage, not only on both comics but also a lot of these TV shows, and it makes you wonder because a lot of the guys writing the TV shows are also comic book writers.
Yeah.
So
or there's executive producers behind it that are like, I had the biggest hope in the world when like Jeff Johns is basically named the Kevin Feige for DC at the time. I just think Warner Brothers executives got in the way.
Yeah.
But I also wonder how this will affect that whole rumor we heard of Kevin Feige not only being head of Marvel, but wanting a bigger role with head of a lot of the other studios. We've also seen there's been links in the news because of all this Disney shakeup that, And it's weird because there's all this stuff coming from Disney, and they had like great first quarter earnings.
Really?
So a lot of people are wondering what's going on. And they also announced what we got: Frozen, we got another Toy Story. So the Disney mogul is moving forward. I personally wish they would lay off on the live action remakes of animated classics because I just think that's stupid. But now they're talking about doing a live action remake of Princess and the Frog.
Well, hence the multi article larger Disney discussion for tonight. That's kind of taking up a big portion of the show because you've got the layoffs, you've got the delays on the shows, you've got the cut to 5.5 billion in spending, you got the Marvel executive unexpectedly stepping down, and then what's this I'm hearing on social media, or I'm hearing from some other people out there? 2024 is the year they lose trademark or something with Mickey Mouse, and they're gonna have to find a new mascot.
Yeah, so they've got that extension. So what is it? The fair use, right? It's good for, I forget what. I'm not a copyright or fair use. It just happened to Winnie the Pooh this past year, and then they had an extension for Mickey Mouse over a year or two ago. But then they're about to lose to fair use. I think it's 100 years. They become basically fair use.
Yeah,
And
Wow.
70 years, I think. Is it 70?
I guess Pedro Pascal, the internet's daddy, better start pumping some serious iron to carry all of Disney for the foreseeable future.
I think they should do a Grogu Narcos crossover.
That would be hilarious.
But yeah, like you said, you were right about the 4,000. It's going to be 7,000, but it's in two windows. It's like 4,000 and 3,000.
Yeah, the first articles that we saw over the weekend as the group, the four of us started researching for this week's show, the first onslaught of articles was saying like 4 or 4.4. But then this 7,000 is not something to blink away. That's a serious number of people for any corporation.
And it's not hourly wage positions. They're saying like the Disney parks, a lot of those jobs are safe. It's not your hourly wage position. It's going to be within that.
Well, yeah, they can't cut any on the they can't really cut any jobs on the customer service level. They can barely keep the lines moving and keep them from sitting stagnant down in a lot of the at the parks, the rides and the shows. Like you still see constant social media posts on TikTok and IG Reels where people are just stuck in forever lines waiting to see this. So like if Disney did any more cuts there, the parks would shut down, it would seem like.
Yeah, like they have that crazy reservation system where now you have to not only have a park ticket, but you have to have a reservation for that day for that park. I heard they're getting rid of that soon. I heard they're going to revamp the Genie Plus for the park tickets, which used to be the Magic Pass. There's a lot of stuff I think that Bob Iger, and it's not just Iger, but I mean he's a front runner. But a lot of his executives, I think they're going to be doing a lot of changes within the parks, and then I'm sure we'll see it in the media as well. I heard also they're talking about possibly selling off Hulu.
We should.
If that's going to come. I do like Wu-Tang Saga on Hulu.
I do too. I agree. I agree.
I just can't think of so many different things happening to one single company and then hitting frontline news on so many different avenues. I can't even recall that over the last 10 years of something of this magnitude or so many different things happen to a company and it having a good outcome is what I should say. Disney's not going anywhere, bar none, but like, I think this could have a dramatic effect on us as content consumers and comic book readers and collectors. And not necessarily in a positive way, but what's that phrase? Necessity is the mother of all invention or something like that. Well, when Disney needs viewership and they need money to come in to appease shareholders, somebody in there is going to innovate something, and we're probably going to get some really killer content. Like you said, a lot of show writers are comic book writers first and foremost. Therefore, I think as comic book collectors and readers, we're on the forefront of needing to pay more attention to what's happening on New Comic Book Day with new comic books coming out over the next several years. We could see some really cool stories and really cool innovation happening, not just in comic books and how we read them and how they're published or produced, but really cool story ideas like we saw in 16, 17, 18, 19 leading up before COVID, where a lot of the reads that we're still enjoying that are on their second, third, or fourth season, or they're in their issue 28 through 30 or 40, they're still running strong, but now eventually we'll need to see some innovation and some more stories hitting the market.
I think we might be looking at this kind of wrong too, because they're just saying that they're cutting spending, right? They showed their first quarter earnings are up. What if they're cutting spending because Bob Iger was the master of huge acquisitions? Under Bob Iger, they bought Avatar. Under Bob Iger, they got Pixar. Under Bob Iger, they got Star Wars.
You're
What
ready
if
for the
there's
next
some other
acquisition.
trying to plan some other bigger acquisition there? But I've heard rumors, not so much big acquisition, but I've heard rumors that Disney might buy WWE at one point. I've heard rumors that Apple might buy Disney, but I've also heard rumors that Disney wants to buy Apple. What if they're just cutting spending because they want to
They're going
acquire
to
some more
get a
shit?
pie, another piece of pie.
I mean, they do have a stock that needs to perform, but like this is a lot to happen just to get performance for a company. I mean, are they suffering that bad on the inside that these need to happen? Something they're starting. This feels like they're starting to stick fingers in the holes of the dam to try to keep it from breaking free and letting all the water loose. I don't know. Like, we've never seen Disney as a weak company. At least I've never reviewed Disney as a weak company until I start to see something like this that shows weakness. Not just this article, but the vast majority of what's happening with Disney in these couple of weeks.
I also wonder, Iger's already been up front. He doesn't plan to stay there past another year or so. He wants an exit strategy. So I don't know who's going to come in to replace him. I always said if you haven't had a chance, I say listen because I don't read. I listen on Audible. But the Bob Iger book he has out there that talks about his come up through ABC and everything is a great book. And he was going to run for president, Democratic candidate, the year that Hillary was the nominee. But the guy's smart. The guy's I have more trust in Iger than I do in Chapek. But it's anxious to see.
I have more trust in him than
I think they did get a little bit foot deep in the whole politics and stuff. I think that had kind of an adverse effect on some of their stuff. I think they had some marketing issues lately over some of not even their Marvel movies, but their animated movies. The one that had Jake Gyllenhaal in it, was it Strange World or whatever? You barely got any marketing out of that. And of course, people blamed it because there was an openly gay character. I think the marketing sucked. I think if you have organic storytelling and organic characters and it's not shoved down your throat like no one would agree with. We've had conversations about comic books that way, where they shove characters down your throat or they switch a character that we know and love rather than creating some new organic character and there's no tolerance for it. But I'm anxious to see. I'm a huge Disney fan. I still remain a Disney fan. In fact, just this week I was looking at pictures going, I want to go back to Disney World.
You're like
building Avatar land in Disneyland. They already said that. So they're going to be spending money.
You go what, twice a year?
No, I go like once every other year. I think the next time we're going is without the kids.
There you
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, an adults only trip to Disney, food and drink galore, and you ain't got to worry about the kids like slowing you down.
I always
not
said
wrong
that,
there.
like, Disney World or Hawaii was like that's what I would say is a theme park for adults is Hawaii.
Well, there's a Disney Vacation Club resort there called Alani.
Of course there is.
Yeah. I have Disney Vacation Club, and it's like, hey, you can spend one night at Alani, but it's going to cost you 10 years worth of points.
Wow.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's not that bad, but it's bad. But
the more this hits, the more concerned I'm getting a little bit for Star Wars content. Because earlier, Three Rivers or Nicholas in there saying even the Mando numbers are way down, which is kind of surprising to hear because
Mando hasn't been as good this season.
Are you kidding me? Last week's episode was dope.
The first two, it was so slow, and the writing's not that great. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's like, hey, here's Mando, but forget that. Remember this Persian guy? Here he
Maybe
is.
maybe I'm
Psych! It's a
I'll give you
trap.
that. Like, let me rephrase that. The beginning and the end of last week's episode was dope.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I meant to say. And maybe I'm just mesmerized by Katie Sackhoff's strut as Bo-Katan because, like,
I do love me some
Badass.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan's killing it. Katie is killing it. I'm excited for the next episode, but because of what's happening, it does have me a little bit concerned of what's going to be happening with the writing and how they put together the rest of the Star Wars stuff that's even supposed to outperform Mandalorian over time.
Well, if they're taking recommendations, don't bring back another Book of Boba Fett season. I think they've ruined the Boba Fett character with that show.
Yeah.
I do like Mando. I do like Ahsoka. I like how they're tying stuff. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I've watched a lot of the cartoons and stuff. I do like how they're tying some of those Rebels, the Star Wars Rebels and stuff, and Clone Wars into and everything. But I also like not being kind of ignorant to all the Star Wars lore, to where I can just watch it and be entertained and not worry about, well, yeah, that's like, from the old Republic and this happened in here. And sometimes I just like to watch a good show.
I agree with that. There's just a lot of hints and a lot of things dropping in Mandalorian that has somebody like me excited that I'm not even really big on the Star Wars lore in the greater Star Wars universe. I pale in comparison to a lot of other people out there in the community. But when they drop some of the scenes that they have been doing and some of the little hints, like there's a lot of potential for return characters. I don't know if it's going to pan out, but it's enough to get really excited about. And there's not a lot of people talking about it. It seems like either way.
I do like Bad Batch still.
Bad Batch, I heard, got better. I'm like 4 episodes behind because the middle of the season got kind of quiet for me. A little bit of crickety.
See, I haven't got a chance. I just haven't had a chance to watch all that yet. I really want to see Mandalorian. I just haven't had the chance.
You'll find a way. Wait till your boys get old enough to sit there and watch it with you.
Yeah, I'm excited for when that does happen for sure.
And Nicholas, you're not wrong. Either subscribe for free trials and watch it all at once, or find a place to watch stuff for free.
Yeah,
what I do.
Go ahead, Brian.
That's what I do. Find a place to watch it for free.
A lot of people wait until the whole season's wrapped up, which is why this is probably an extremely good segue if you guys are done with Disney, because speaking of additional seasons and speaking of waiting till the end,
speaking of Pedro Pascali,
the internet's daddy right now. I don't know why I love that so much. Just the internet's daddy. Last of Us season 2, we know is confirmed.
World's best babysitter.
Lone Wolf and Cub. Episode 3 or 4 in the first season of The Last of Us, we had got the news that confirms for season 2. But now that the first season is done and the greater fandom has watched the show and everybody else that is choosing to wait till the end is starting to get onto the show or will be very soon, they're starting to talk more and more about season 2. And the release dates are not out yet. That's just rumors still. There's some speculation.
They're splitting season 2 and 3, game 2 up into seasons 2 and 3.
That's why I kind of wanted to talk about this, is even though we've talked about The Last of Us quite a bit the last 4 or 5 months, there's some more meat on the bones here that is a little bit theory, but much less speculation now because of the simple fact that you've got Bella Ramsey, you've got Neil Druckmann, you've got other people that are actually, let me switch windows here. They are dropping tidbits and news and information, especially let me pull this up because Neil Druckmann dropped this tweet this past week with the image for The Last of Us season 2 with a suspiciously familiar looking forearm holding a hammer, which is something that we get to see in the second game, part 2. It's loading. Maybe it's just so busy. But that right there is the official image for Last of Us season 2. And that is obviously a really good drop for a character coming out that a lot of people who play the games know about. And we're talking Abby. Neil Druckmann didn't specifically say that name in the tweet, but no TLOU on HBO tonight this past Sunday, but season 2 is already on its way. Endure and Survive. That sparked a lot of talk and a lot of conversation on social media. You get tweets from Bella Ramsey, you get interviews from Pedro Pascal. Bella Ramsey pretty much damn near confirmed, and so did Pedro Pascal. My working theory of when we would see season 2, potentially end of 2024, 2025, based on casting, based on writing, based on filming and production. So we could be in a bit of a wait, but I am happy to wait as long as they produce the quality content that they are capable of doing. I'm really excited. I want to know what you guys are kind of thinking and feeling after the first season. If you have watched it, if you haven't watched it, there's more and more people talking about it as more important people get exposed to season 1. And there's a lot more podcasts out there hitting the ground running after season 1 that are excited for more content.
I
think
don't
they
know
should cancel the
about
show.
Last
It's
of
fucking
Us.
horrible.
Yeah. I don't know much about The Last of Us, so I'm like, I'm waiting till to watch it and everything like that. So
I was pleasantly surprised. I figured the show would be good. The first season was great. It was very close to the game. If anyone's played the game, if you have played part 2, I think you kind of know what to expect with season 2. So I hope you're naturally going to get the comparison between this and Walking Dead. There was one episode that I even told Andy, hey, I didn't like this one. It was a great episode, but to me, it reminded me too much of The Walking Dead and the hunters and the cannibals and everything. But what I hope is what I liked about this one is they stayed closer to the adaptation, where Walking Dead they stay close enough to the comic books, but they changed it up enough to kind of keep the viewer guessing. But I think this is also great that the storytelling from the actual game was so great that they stayed close to it and was like, we don't give a damn if you kind of know what's coming up. Yeah, they changed some things up. That's what the adaptations do, but it was more close to the source material. And season 2, I think, is going to be great. I think, did they say when they're actually starting production? I think it's fairly soon, right?
Yeah, if they start production like this summer, this upcoming fall, then we're looking at end of 2024, beginning of 2025 for everything to be wrapped up and be done. And they did even hint at and discuss a little bit. Basically, Neil Druckmann was responding to somebody's question, said there's enough meat and potatoes in part 2 for part 2 to make up a season 2 and a season 3. So that was something that me and some friends speculated on quite some time ago and discussed if they were going to go that route, and it sounds like that's what they're leaning towards.
Yeah, and then I've heard rumor that they might actually have, because the person that voices Abby in the game played one of the nurses in the finale, and the rumor that since the face was covered, that they might tie that into the actual show as well. Like they might make that actually Abby as the nurse.
I don't know. We'll see. There's actually a couple of other good options people have been talking about. Who's that actor from Black Widow that played her sister Natasha? Nope. Wait.
Belova?
Florence Pugh?
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
There's discussion about how she could be a really good fit for that. I know Ryan's in the middle playing the first game.
Just don't get that Hunger Games chick. What's her name? The one that was like the first heroine in movies.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing this game. I play it pretty much every night now. And like just kind of working my way through. I don't spend a long time on it, but it's just like 30 minutes to an hour every night. And it's been interesting. I can see where I made it purposeful to really keep up with the storyline. Some of the other games I've played, I keep up with the storyline sorta, but really try to go for the gameplay. And so the storyline was just secondary to the gameplay. But this, I've tried to keep up with it and kind of know what's going on. And I'll say, like, there has been parts in the game where I was like, oh, yeah, this is what Andy was talking about when he said it's like you can feel the emotions or whatever from the game that I'll say the other game that I felt like I mean, it's weird. It's kind of weird to say you get emotions from the game or the story, but Guardians of the Galaxy, that game was really, really cool. And I think super underrated. It gave me a lot of the same, like it reminded me of a similar to what this game is. Different story and different things, but like the emotional aspect of it too. It really pulled. I never had a game pull at heartstrings like a Guardians of the Galaxy did.
Yep.
So if you haven't played that one, y'all definitely should play that game.
I'm excited for you to get further in to kind of hear more of your thoughts, and as you kind of dip into that that lore, not lore, but that universe further, because you kind of were feeling much like I was feeling. You can only handle so much of it in one shot per day, right?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like I was saying, it was tripping me out. I was playing this especially at night. I would play it at night and like everyone's asleep, and I had the lights off because I just like it dark when I play games like that, or just games in general. And like things were coming out, and I was like, man, I hear things in my house. I'm like checking out stuff, whatever, and I'm like, what's going on? So I'm not into games like that. I've never played creepy horror or like that type of game. I just never have. And when I got it, I was like, oh, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I was like, I'll play it, but it's been pretty cool. And now I kind of understand it. So there's not so much of a scare tactic to it. It's more or less the strategy behind it and whatnot.
Yeah. And I'm excited to hear from McClay, because like McClay said, he's an individual that prefer to wait until it's all out and can find it or watch it for free. And I'm hoping, as good as the show is, the chances it has at several Emmy nominations, that maybe HBO will run a free weekend where they'll allow people to watch the first season, because they're just going to build that beat going into the second season over the next year and a half or 2 years. It just makes sense that their best, HBO's most watched property now, it actually beat out Game of Thrones. It has the largest full season viewership over Game of Thrones in South America and other countries in Europe. It's the most watched series on HBO Max or any HBO avenue, if I remember correctly. So it's obviously got a following, or had a following even before the show dropped, and then that following is building. So it just makes sense for HBO to drop free episodes or drop the whole season for free for a weekend and give people a taste before we get 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. I don't think that's going to go more than 5 or 6 seasons, but it'd be something. It'd be a really killer move for HBO to throw out an olive branch to the fandom out there, not just the fandom, but the future fandom.
I do want to watch the show. I'm kind of itching to watch the show now and just like watch like an episode or two. But I don't want to mess with the game. To where what's going on with the game. I don't want to get ahead and be like, oh, well, crud. Because I actually had a buddy of mine who was playing Last of Us, and he does like some stuff on Twitch, and someone in the comments pretty much let the cat out of the bag on the whole game, when he was like, he wasn't asking for that, and I don't think they meant to, but he saw it and he was like, well, now I have no desire to play the game. And I just don't want it to happen to me, because I like to play it through and experience it for myself.
Yeah, you definitely got to stay away from spoilers for sure. But if you watch the season 1 and the game, you can watch them simultaneously, and you're not going to get anything crazy spoiled for you, because the show is a different experience than the game. And we talked about this quite a bit on our podcast on Monday nights. Is what happens is when you remove the ability to click buttons and use a controller and play the game, you take the viewer outside of that decision-making process, and now you watch the characters in their decision-making process doing those things. So it feels very different. But you do you, and then consume the content however is best for you.
I'd say I wouldn't know where to stop with the shows. That's what I don't know how to keep up with where I'm at in the game.
You'll be done with the game soon enough that you can.
9.
Huh?
Just stop at episode 9.
Of what?
The show.
No, because what if I overdo the game? Where I'm at in the game?
No, episode 9 of the game.
You're making me upset right now.
He's not wrong that if you watch the first 8 episodes, you're not going to spoil the game, and you're not going to spoil the ending. Just don't watch episode 9 until you beat the game.
Yeah,
is what he's saying.
Like, oh,
so I might watch
Giraffe is here
this weekend to see, because I'm really interested to see how they made the clickers look.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like the game definitely has more clickers than the show.
Ooh, Cosmic One's got a great point. For example, The Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick. They did an official HBO podcast for The Last of Us, hosted by Troy Baker, that had Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin on there, and Ashley Johnson and some other people. So you can listen to that. But I agree with Cosmic One. HBO should be running an after show for half an hour to an hour and bring that back. That was dope.
Dead Live. Yes.
Yeah, that was
That
cool.
Talking Dead started so many companion shows to episodes, and like they did it with Power on Stars, and then like every Bravo show now has like a reunion show afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, Below Deck.
No,
Great show.
it's not put on Below Deck, please.
Dude, Below Deck's awesome. You're just mad because you can't be a chief stew.
You need to go over there with your dude that went there and started being on what's that show? Where they're in Savannah or whatever.
Southern Charmed. That's a Bravo show, man. They got reunions. But yeah. Also, other video game news. We've been talking about video games getting adapted. The Gears of War Netflix movie just picked up a writer. So
nice.
That's a big Xbox flagship.
God of War. Horizon, the Horizon series, first and second game, that's optioned as well. If that is written well or adapted well to screen, that could do really well. It'd be really exciting to see that.
Yep.
My, it's like going like shrinking.
Yeah.
Is it because it's time?
I don't know. It's just weird. It's like getting smaller. Look at that. It's crazy.
Time for your surprise topic?
I think so. Speaking of games, nice segue. So there's an announcement today in reference to a game that is connected to the Marvel verse, Gameverse, and a little Spidey action. So apparently the Spider-Man 2 is, from what I'm hearing, is coming out in September. There's been a lot of now that's not official like who's that say official from the football, Adam Sector, whatever his name is, Schefter. But from what the different clues that have been dropped, the guy who voices Venom is said September you'll get your treat or something like that, or you're going to get your something other. And apparently there's other games that are typically to come out in September time as well. So are y'all looking forward to that game? Is that something that y'all going to jump on, or you're going to be like first in line? I was thinking I pre-ordered like Avengers. It was supposed to be like 9 months in advance. And it what? Avengers
stunk.
It did. It was a really bad game.
The Spider-Man games are good though.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. And I ordered it 9 months in advance, which ended up turning to be like a year and a half in advance because they set it back so much. But are y'all going to? Is this something that y'all would pre-order? And the coolest thing about it is that supposedly you get to play as Venom. Now you know I'm going to go all 8 crap on that crap. If that's the truth.
I'm gonna pre-order it, and I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna pre-order it mostly for the kids because Trick loved the kids. But yeah, my youngest loved the Miles Morales, and then he played the other Spider-Man. Both those games were great.
They're amazing. That's the reason why I started playing games again, because of the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I hadn't played a game like that. I was always playing Madden, and then I was like, well, I should venture into other games. And my wife and I just got married. Remember that? And I was like, it's like I'll play this game here, and man, it sucked me in. I was like for like 3-4 days just hooked.
Yeah, my youngest like played the crap out of it, and then he's like, I'm gonna play on your profile too. But
it's funny you asked that because I just pre-ordered a game for the first time in an extremely long time. Like I didn't even pre-order The Last of Us, the remake for PS5. Because I just figured I'd just wait for that to come out, and I figured I'd wait to get it on sale. No, I ended up paying full price and playing it in a whole weekend. But I just pre-ordered Diablo 4 because I couldn't wait for that, and that open beta opened up. So the Spider-Man game, I'll be honest with you, I've heard really good things from Bryan, but I'm probably going to be knee-deep in Diablo for the better part of 2023. But hopefully I've had enough Diablo play by the time that comes out that I might I won't pre-order it, but I'll probably pick it up when it comes out.
You played the first Spider-Man though, right?
No, I still haven't played the first one.
Shut your mouth when you talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Did you say you haven't played the first Spider-Man game?
No, I didn't have a PlayStation when that came out. I've only had a PlayStation for like 7 or 8 months. They
You're about
just
to get,
started
if I still
getting.
have that. You're about to get A-OK for sure because I want you to play that game.
It was just before Christmas when they started hitting the shelves a little bit better, and I just randomly found one available on the PlayStation Network,
I remember.
and it came with that Horizon Forbidden West. And I played that nonstop till I beat it and played it again and beat it again. And then, yeah, at that point, I had to play Last of Us. Had to.
Yeah. No, the Spider-Man game was just I didn't know whenever I was playing it how good of a game it was. Someone else told me, it was good, great game. And I was like, sure. They always say it was a great game. It was legit one of the best games that they have come out. It changed the level. Like what is considered a good game. It really brought up that level of a tremendous.
Yeah, it was on the level of like the Batman Arkham Knight series.
I tried to play Arkham Knight stuff, man. It was really it was extremely complicated to figure out what was going on in it.
Yeah. Speaking of legends, here's Seawater 19 in the chat. The man, the myth, the legend that introduced me to the Last of Us comic book series and the video game all those years ago, which made me pick it up on PlayStation 4 Pro.
Mass Effect is cool.
Yeah. Oh my God, no, I haven't yet. Mass Effect is another one of those series that I have to get, and there's talk and rumor about that being adapted as well.
See, I played it, but I having ADD and playing games it can be a challenge because to be able to sit there that long and like being able to be tuned in to a game, I don't have much time to put. I have to be selective with the games I choose to spend time with, and that's why it took me a while. Even with Last of Us 2, I was like, okay, I know whatever I get it when I get into it, it's going to be a while. So I waited till after
Leisure
football
Suit Larry.
Huh?
Leisure Suit Larry.
I waited till after football season and stuff like that so that I can make sure that, there was nothing that was going to get in the way because I want to finish it out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you got to play that Spider-Man game. That was cool.
I don't doubt that. I've heard lots of good things. I've seen lots of good clips. I will say this.
You get to play as the Punisher.
You can't play as the Punisher, can you?
Yeah.
Look at his face.
In the first Spider-Man you do, you play most of the game as the Punisher.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. You should buy it right now and play it.
You're trolling me. All right, I'll be honest. The reason why I haven't picked up Spider-Man 1, and I'm afraid of heights, like deathly afraid of heights, like deathly afraid of heights.
Yeah.
And the idea of being in New York on skyscrapers and diving and dipping and dodging wrenches and shooting webs everywhere scares the piss out of me.
Well, what was cool about it is that it gives you different things to like different missions and different things to do inside of it. So it's very active. There's always something kind of active to be doing, which for me, my mind's always going all over the place. It kind of kept me active. I'm scared of heights as well. But that also was one of the cool aspects is that you can see and experience a lot of that stuff and know that you're not going to die. I mean, your character might get splatted, but you're not going to die as a person.
Yeah, if you're not going to play Spider-Man as Spider-Man and swing from the buildings, you might as well be playing GTA 5.
Yeah, it's so cool though because also like you can like you want to do things and try things, and then you can actually do them. It's like I wonder if I could do this, and you're like, oh yeah, I can call up to the top of this building and see what it looks like. And and it's just a beautiful game. Like some of the sceneries and the pictures you can do, like when you're on the top of like Empire State Building, whatever it is, and you're sitting on that little flagpole and just like checking everything out. And it's pretty cool.
McClay, are you playing any video games right now or no?
No, I want to get back into World of Warcraft, but I just haven't had the time, man. Like,
save it and get Diablo 4 when it comes out.
Man, I'm not a Diablo player, man. I've never been a Diablo player.
You don't like Satan? I'm sorry.
We'll fire up the old Ventrilo server.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. I have nightmares of that ping, that sound of activating. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm a big World of Warcraft guy, but not a
He'll be selling off cards for his WoW fixed.
Yeah.
Hey. The only reason why I wasn't a big WoW player is about the time that WoW came out, Square Enix released the Final Fantasy MMORPG.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I didn't get into WoW is because I had 3 computer setups and 3 accounts playing that constantly for 7 or 8 years. And then when I finally got done with that, I was like, oh, I had left a piece of me in a computer somewhere floating around online and I can never get it back again.
Did y'all
Yeah,
see
man.
this? I don't know if this cover is. Is this a? I don't know what cover this is.
That's the Zerdy variant for
Straight out of Gotham.
it's the Zerdy tattoo variant.
This is interesting. That's cool.
Did you have more, McClay? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Sorry.
No.
It seems like a pretty good place to Sagoo, right?
You look at that.
Do it.
Yeah, new comic book day is today and tomorrow. I still don't like that Tuesday DC.
Your comic book days.
I still haven't converted. I still consider Wednesday to be the only new comic book day.
No one's going to follow DC and make it the other way.
There is a book that there's a couple books that I love this week, but there's one that I'm really interested in because of spec play. And that is this, The Amazing Spider-Man number 22. Look how badass this character is. This is the god of mischief in the Mayan world. It goes by Wayeb, and or Wayeb is a Mayan god of mischief that inhabits the dimensional realm of Zabalba. And his first appearance was in a Brand New Day issue, Amazing Spider-Man number 556 from 2008. Right, so be on the lookout for that. That's go to your back issue bins and find that. He isn't in any other issues other than that until today, where he shows up in Amazing Spider-Man number 22. Great cover right there.
He's on the cover there.
Yep, JR, and he's also on the cover of the 1 in 25 by the original cover artist of his first appearance, Chris Pachalo, and that is a badass cover too. So, really cool character, I think.
Kind of a pirate.
Also, there's this Marvel Icon variant that they're doing. There's this one this week for Amazing Spider-Man. They also did one for America Chavez this week, but there's a David Nakayama variant for him. So be on the lookout if you're Nakayama fans. That's a exclusive, retailer exclusive.
Yeah, that's John 616 and
others. But I really like the look of this character. And the idea of God of mischief in the Mayan world kind of reminds me of a World of Warcraft character. The God of mischief in the troll world in World of Warcraft totally reminds me of this. I could see him playing out like this, but very cool design on that character. Be on the lookout for his first appearance, which from 2008, Amazing Spider-Man 656. So that's a nice little spec play. Couple other good covers. This is Catwoman number 53. I can't tell if this is good or not, but this is going to be a foil variant. This
is
like
a Miss Piggy Catwoman,
right? 1 in 50 Sweeney Boo foil variant.
Sweeney Boo
foil.
Yep, it could look good in foil.
It could. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. DC's been disappointing me with the last that Superman foil they released was last week was not great in person.
Well, how about this Superman cover? This is the Zerdy cardstock variant for Superman number 2. New character. It's pretty badass. So I like that for a cover pick. And then another great cover pick, Wonder Woman. This is number 797. I love this Art Nouveau style cover right here. This is the International Women's Day cover. Beautiful. Just gorgeous. And then the cover C is a nice cover too. So really good covers right there. Another big one this week is Deceased number 7.
I hate that.
Ooh.
Talking about horrible trade dress.
Yeah, horrible trade dress. Terrible. But nice play on Purple Rain.
Yep.
But not only that, look at this cover C by Cale New. That is amazing right there. Just beautiful. They need to do this in foil.
Yeah.
If they don't do this in foil, there's a problem.
They should do that in saran wrap.
Well, something, man. It's gorgeous.
Something
There's-
about Purple Rain covers. Purple Rain covers always seem to have some sort of staying power over time.
That's a Tony Fix is all about some Purple Rain homages.
Yeah.
he's selling his right now. His Snake Eyes one. Joe Fixit, number 3. This is the EM Gis variant. So be on the lookout for that. That's a cool one. And then a Milestone.
Yes, that's
30th
one of mine.
anniversary.
Sienkiewicz.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. So
That's a
Really
incentive,
beautiful.
right?
yeah, this is the 1 in 25 Bill Sienkiewicz variant. Gorgeous. Yeah, that's beautiful. Monsters of Metal is back with My Bloody Valentine number 1.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I like that opus.
That's cool.
And then more beautiful Mark Spears covers from Scorched. He's just amazing.
Yeah.
Really doing a good job. And
I
then
hate
this is interesting.
how they're going overboard with those blank variants with the comic
Yeah.
paper blanks.
Yeah,
It was like,
it's kind of a bummer.
yeah.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 106. I like
Some
the
good
A
covers
cover.
for that for Green Ranger fans.
Well, that's what I want to show. These right here, these are the Carlos de Toli variants, are beautiful, and they
Wow.
need to do these for each Rangers. This is the variant A. Here's the variant B, but these are the only 2 that I can find. So if they need to do one of these for each Ranger, these Carlos de Toli variants, because they are gorgeous. So there's green and blue right there. And then they did a really cool Berea variant for the Green Ranger. So be on the lookout for those. Those are badass. Again, they need to do this is the first ones I've seen, these 2 for green and blue on 106. Blue Book number 2.
Yep.
This is a rare Hollywood Theater variant that I need to get. You can only get it at the Hollywood Theater for a special event that they did. So I'm on the lookout for this one. If you guys ever see any and score an extra one, grab one from me. And then finally, one for Star Wars, the Darth Vader 32.
And I'll be honest with you, man, that's pretty much the only thing that's on my pull list tomorrow. That and TMNT.
Yeah. TNMT is interesting. The Eastman variant's pretty interesting on that one.
Eastman.
Now I won't say that's because I don't want to read more things. It's just I haven't been using the Previews magazine to update my pull list in probably 6 months. I've been buying previews and looking and just not seeing a lot in there that's hitting to update my pull list. But yeah.
So it's like it's advertised as Eastman and Campbell on that cover.
Yeah, but it's not. It's Sophie Campbell.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah.
Sophie Campbell. I know she writes it,
Yeah.
or
She must
they
have
write
helped
it, or
color it or something. I don't know. Badass.
I know that I do know this is the perfect week for everybody watching live in the chat or everybody watching on the replay. I've got a question on the channel on the community tab saying what DC book can I not miss out this week, because I have a week where I have a couple extra bucks in the budget and I need to read some DC books. So I'm looking for suggestions if people want to go over and leave suggestions in those comments. There's 20 people here. I'm hoping to see at least a handful of DC related comments over there to catch something tomorrow.
Bro,
I'm in
pick
on the Joshua
Shazam.
Williamson Superman for now.
Yeah.
At least the first arc.
Yeah, that new character looks interesting.
Because I do love me some Joshua Williamson.
And they're doing a foil version of this. So, new character on this. You got the Raza cover. Marilyn Moon Knight is the character. And then, so it looks pretty interesting. There is the Jamal Campbell foil variant that's for this. They also did a Jamal Campbell design variant. Here's the design variant. I like it when she's like this. I don't like the hat. But
I have a reader pick just because I love history especially when it's stuff like Spartacus and Roman Empire. But Image has a new book coming out called Dead Romans.
Yeah, I did see that. How do you make that not read and feel like 300 though?
Pretty
Because
hard.
it's Romans and not Spartans.
Yeah, but the average reader just is so far outside of history class or ancient history
that's got to be your buddy's book, huh?
Bird City right here. Yeah.
Smashing hero who reads comics.
It's interesting. Yeah. Yes, Germanic prince raised in Rome has sworn vengeance against the empire that butchered his people. He wants to make a queen of the woman he loves, Oneria, and a fellow slave. Now 50,000 Romans will die to give her a throne she never asked for or wanted. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got a couple for you. There's a second print if you're into that kind of stuff. The Red Goblin #1. Some people like to catch the second prints of that stuff.
Isn't it like a second print variant too? Second print incentives.
See this?
Some Carnage.
Is that a Stegman?
Mastrazo.
Oh,
it's a cool looking Carnage though.
Yeah.
See, I think that finally kind of get the idea of how Carnage is different than Venom in a lot of ways. So, like, that's a really good way of the difference. Those are like that second one there is just a reprint, and those look like straight out of not that one, but the other one.
This one.
Yeah.
That does look like it's been used. I've seen that before.
Yeah, that's out of that run that thing they had a couple years ago. The other thing I saw is Vanish has a cool cover by Scotty Young.
I looked at that and instantly when I started looking at the variants, first thing that comes to my mind, cover A and some of those variants is Dylan and Venom.
Yeah, I mean it's that was the thing. I think they kind of stopped doing that that character that looks exactly like this Vanish guy because they started doing this comic book at the same time, and they're like, we got to not have this kind of storyline anymore,
right?
So they took him out of Venom's storyline, killed him off, if you will, and then started doing Vanish in the background. But Scotty Young, usually those books, they hold some type of monetary value a lot of times over.
Scotty Young fans, man, do not get enough credit out there, to be honest.
That's pretty cool.
But I didn't see any anything. Like, those are things that I saw out there. As far as me personally, I don't know if there's anything really out there that I'm going after. I do.
Well, there was a time between like 2012 and 2014 where every Marvel book had a Scotty Young variant every month.
How about this one, you guys? Vampirella 1 in 15. Bruce Timm.
There, wherever she's at.
Bruce Timm, okay.
Tune in Tokyo.
Kind of has like a DC feel to it a little bit, like a DC, like Catwoman.
That's a Batman adventure.
Bruce Timm Vampirella comics are very, very coveted, like big time.
Bruce Timm Vampirella covers?
Yeah, he did a Vampirella cover. That's one of the toughest covers to find. One of the toughest variants to find.
Smashing Hero. I bet you'd read that one if you read Braille.
So.
Oh.
If
there it is.
There's people out there that collect like certain covers, and like some people like skull covers.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of Marco Cicchetto, but Grimm #9 has a Marco Cicchetto variant that's kind of a cool skull cover.
He also had another one that he did, Cicchetto, this week. It was a.
Did you show that #1 of the Dead Romans? That I guess the actual A cover. That's a pretty cool cover. Oh, it's a virgin cover.
I'll be honest. I'm surprised Grimm's still going strong. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, did you see? Look at Chichetto's
Something's coming to
Doctor
children, what?
Strange cover. He also did a Doctor Strange cover this week.
Mhm.
That's got a badass skull in it. This is a 1 in 50.
Oh wow. So I have heard no news about this new Doctor Strange kickoff. Has anybody
That
heard
looks
anything?
like I've heard a lot. Well, the guy. So my buddy Zach over at the Bucks, this my go to over here. He's got this series, and he said it's supposed to be a good one. He's excited about this one.
It's got the America Chavez icon variant.
This I might have to grab this to read this. I'd love some more Doctor Strange in my weekly reading.
Shout out to my boy Zach, keeping it real with the Doctor Strange.
So, yeah.
That Dead Romans, that cover with the Virgin cover is pretty sick though. Did you show that one?
Yeah.
That is cool. Not that one. That one. I didn't see you show that one. I was looking at that's legit.
That reminds me of Beastmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which one is it? Is it 300 or is it Beastmaster? Next thing you say is Conan.
Beastmaster is way better than 300.
Door to door, night to night, or night by night.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds pretty friggin' creepy.
That guy's got a terrible diet. Man, he needs to get off that diet.
That's almost a skull cover.
That's the diet talking.
I wish Vault would show up in more local comic shops, to be honest with you. My local comic shop does not order enough Vault stuff, to be honest.
Dune from Boom.
Dude.
I've heard nobody talking about this series, to be honest with you. Nobody.
Nobody's talking about this Dune comic.
To be fair, the Dune fandom is quite ravenous, but Dune is something very, very deep.
All I hear when I see that cover is "Q Q Q."
I like House whenever you see House of whatever, and I love that name, House of Atreides. So yeah, Monstrous number 44 still going strong.
Wow. That's something I'm going to have to pick up, like the hardcovers or trades, because I've heard good things. And I just keep forgetting that it's out there.
Yeah. Nightwalkers by Source Point. What's this?
Source Point's got like 15 books coming out tomorrow.
It's American.
Yeah.
Really?
There.
There's a bunch of Source Point books.
Michigan company right there.
Plush
I do
number
like that Archie book that's coming out tomorrow. The Pops Horror Chiclets or whatever.
Oh, we haven't even talked about the Punisher book. There's a lot of people been talking about Punisher lately, and I've gotten messages from other people in the community say, Andy, you really should rethink your decision to not read this Punisher series. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then by issue 9, I hear it again. And now issue 10, Rhynoverse mentioned that there's some secondary heat hitting Punisher books right now.
hard pass.
Yeah, I'm not saying the cover is amazing, but I mean, as a story,
even the story sounds stupid.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, what are you doing with the Punisher? Putting him in this? Like, that's not the Punisher. And making it his origin. It's so it feels so forced.
They changed his origin too.
Says here, at last the fist of the beast has fully risen, and with the full power of the new Punisher is unleashed upon the world. It's a bad day to be a bad guy. Meanwhile, Frank's wife, Maria, uncovers more dark secrets from the past, including more missing pieces of the Punisher's origin.
What? This is like an Elseworld story.
It's I don't know if it's Elseworlds, man, but it's not good.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's interesting.
Garbage. Not a fan.
I just nobody really talks about Punisher a whole lot. Now that some people are kind of talking about it, I'm like, oh man, it's got me kind of wondering.
Yeah, Punisher, because the readers punished reading that shit.
right?
Order an outrage.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy cover right there. Look at her hand.
That makes me think of oh god, dang it. From Watchmen, where he's sitting on the moon by himself.
Yeah. Sereno.
There's a lot of books coming out, but like not a lot of well-known stuff.
Yep.
Tower number 2, never even heard of Tower number 1.
So a lot of interesting stuff this week, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's just going to leave us with one more thing. What do you got for us, Alberto?
Ooh, my one more thing is I'm really excited. The boxes keep coming back from CGC. I'm more scared than excited now, but we are scheduling another blind CGC unboxing for this Friday. I'll probably have it scheduled tomorrow for Friday, 9 p.m. And we're going to do a community giveaway in that. So you got to be live in the chat to be a part of that giveaway. But more importantly, we did a bit of gambling. We took several copies of Ultimate Fallout 4 that we picked up over the last several years that were under 9.4 or under, and we cracked them and we sent them out to Red Hood and got them pressed and cleaned, and we've got them back. And now this small unboxing is going to be a couple of those. I think like a Saga 13 that I wanted to see if we could bump it to from a 9.6 to a 9.8 for the Saga collection. And then there's also a Star Wars Clone Wars 2 second appearance of Ahsoka that we sent out and got back as a 9.6. And I'm like, nay, sir, because this thing is immaculate. Sent it to Red Hood for a quick cleaning. Maybe it had some fingerprints on there, but well, I'm really excited to get into that because now as we're paying closer and closer attention to the market as it continues to dip and do other changes, is now a good time to potentially see that downward trend for UF4 where people can pick up 8.5s, 9.0s, 9.2s, whatever, and maybe do their own crack and press method with their favorite presser and see if they can get a good bump. Can they get a tried and true method if a book is in good enough condition and use it to excel into a higher grade candidate of a book with just the cost of pressing and cleaning and regrading? That's something I wanted to visit because those books have that poly bag crease on the back issue, and that's the only grader's notes that were on the copies that we had CPR'd with Red Hood was just the poly bag indentation on the back. So where did they start? Where are they now? It's going to be a blind unboxing, so I'm excited for that. 9 p.m. on the channel here, and hope everybody will be a part of the live giveaway like we do every other Friday.
Hell yeah, dude. My one more thing, just come hang out. Modern Comic Mayhem Saturday nights. Tomorrow night we have our Wednesday night show. Still trying to find a name for the Wednesday night show.
Just go at the Wednesday night show.
That's what I'm doing. Probably gonna go back to calling it the Wednesday night review. So that's what we're doing right now. So
you should like make your own theme song like the Muppets. It's time to start the music.
Oh my God.
It's the Wednesday show tonight.
No, we have to get together. We have to get together and have everybody just kind of like vocal, like sing part of that and kind of remake it, but for McClay's channel.
I'll come in like Sweetums. Boom, boom.
Oh my God.
That's that for sure. My one more thing is I want to give a shout out to my boy Soren who runs a break for cards. It's called The Break Wizards on Facebook. If you check it out, I met him some time ago, and I don't really do breaks that often, but I do his because they're very economically done. Like they're not breaking the bank, and he's a really good guy. He really tries to make sure that everyone there is wins something. Even there's been times where I haven't won anything and or got anything, and he'll still send me something that makes it cool. It just gives you a good vibe feeling. But he had a break this past week, and he did the new Prism stuff that came out, and I was able to win I don't know if you call it winning or pulling or what you would call it, but I pulled it's Kyle Pitts is who it is, but it's a case hit called
Color Blast.
Huh?
A Color Blast.
No, it's I think it's called Break something or another. It's one of their cases for the Prism box that just came out. That was the warm up. The icing on the cake was that he pulled a London Drake London signed auto purple one of 49 card. I haven't got it quite yet, but when I do, I'll show you all. But that's the biggest thing I've ever won on a break before. I'm not a big supporter of breaks because I think they're kind of a rip, but he makes them so economical. They're like a $30 or $40, and he always does hobby boxes, and it's always a pretty good little group. And he's only got 250 something followers, so you're not having to fight. You pick your teams you like. It's really easy done. Low key, he's real chill, and like I said, he's sent out, like, he'll give away like slabs and whatnot, just a dude doing it. So again, the group, if you look it up on Facebook, is called Break Wizards, and just check it out. Really, when I get the card, though, I'll show them off. I'm really excited about the Drake because it's a cool card, and I haven't won something cool like that in some time. Being it's autoed, and it's a very good card. On top of that, one more thing. Warm me up. I'm starting to work on a series with another person or another group from YouTube. So when that becomes to more fruition, it's going to be a cool series, and I'll give more details. But just keep an ear out. Look at Rhynoverse on whatever platform you want, and you'll be able to sub it up.
Link down below.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, links down below. Didn't know that, but now you know. So yeah, I'd love to have y'all support, and just kind of it's going to be a journey thing. So it's going to be the beginning of something, and you're going to go through a journey with myself. So it'll be interesting.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully.
One more thing. If you guys are interested but not watching, U.S. is down 2-3 to Japan in the bottom of the 8th with the World Baseball Classic. But in soccer world, we on international break. We got U.S. getting ready to play. But other than that, Matter Bourbon. It's been a great show. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you subscribe to Brian's channel. Make sure you subscribe to Ryan's channel. Just make sure you subscribe. But most importantly, make sure you guys have a great week. We will see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Later.
Double up, the money a color. Excuse me while I change. The roller buggy has made me sweaty. Yeah.